Hello everybody and welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about the pass into space team instruction. And let's get started with an overview. Pass into space is a team instruction used under the approach play section. This means we can expect the instruction to have more of an effect in the midfield areas, as opposed to the specific instructions tied to the final third. The instruction tells your players that they have the option to pass it into open space when trying to get the ball to a teammate. The idea is that the pass leads the teammate into an open space in an effort to either stretch play or take advantage of space behind the defense. Like every other instruction in Football Manager, this is not an absolute, so they won't do it every time. I think of it as giving players another option when looking to make a pass. Here's an example. My player is on the ball, attacking to the right. He's about to make a pass and he has a few options. He could pass it back to the center back. He could pass it to his teammate next to him. Or he could pass it directly to his teammate here. What the pass into space team instruction does is give him another passing option, and that's to pass it into this open space. His teammate will look to run onto the end of it. Here's another example. This is my midfielder on the ball attacking to the left. For passing options, he could choose a center back, or maybe a tricky pass out to the winger. But again, the pass into space option tells him instead of trying to hit a teammate directly with a pass, he can play it into an open space for a teammate to run onto. In the next section, we'll talk a little more about passing into space. I mentioned how this instruction can increase the tempo of your tactic. This is because the act of hitting a ball into space naturally drives your players forward. Take this play for example. We're on the ball attacking to the left. When my fullback gets the ball, he has a few passing options. But when he passes it into space, you'll see the natural attacking movement we get. It drives my player out wide, increasing his tempo. This one has the same idea. When you're playing a team that's sitting in a low block and a low defensive line, the act of passing into space drives players from both teams to the ball. This can be a way to unlock a stubborn defense. In this one, we'll see how the instruction can put pressure on the opponent. We've got the ball deep in our own half. As we get it into the midfield, passing into space gets us the corner. Here's a simple tactic idea. A 4-4-2 is a good match for this instruction, because we have two strikers and two wingers willing to run into space. Sitting deeper creates space in behind the defense, and the passing instructions encourage that high tempo pass. In the next section, we'll talk about some things to keep in mind when using this instruction. Now that we know how the instruction works, let's talk about my personal preferences on how to use it. As with any of my tactical preferences, you are welcome to ignore this advice, because pass into space is what I would call a conflict instruction, meaning it can get in the way if you want to play a certain style. As an example, for me, I like to sometimes focus on possession and lower tempo tactics. So something like this, where we play out of defense, shorter passing directness, and a lower tempo, and adding in the positive mentality, all focus on us keeping the ball and making smart decisions. Well, the pass into space instruction can be in conflict with this, because it increases our tempo, and by definition, it means we are willingly taking a risk by kicking the ball away. And this is not to say that pass into space cannot work with possession systems. All I'm saying is that with this instruction, and really any team instruction, is that you want to ask yourself, do I want my players to do this? And does this conflict with how I want to play? So you can have possession and you can pass it into space, but just know that sometimes your players will kick it long and you may lose the ball because of this. The last thing we're going to go over is some player roles to take advantage of this instruction. Since this is a team instruction, it applies to every player in your tactic. But we still need player roles that want to attack open space. This would be roles like the winger on attack, the wide midfielder on attack, the wingback on attack, or a striker like the advanced forward. If you're curious about any player roles used in today's video or want some other tactical ideas, I've got different playlists here that you can check out. I've also got a Patreon account if you'd like to support the channel. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.